Hey there. We're going to talk about why the movable major scale is the most important scale for guitar players. And more importantly, how to play it and how to practice it. Let's do this. So you might be wondering, why do I consider the movable major scale the most important scale for guitar players to learn? Well, there's several reasons. First of all, it's a kind of a template that you can use to play every major scale. So you'll learn it in one position, the C position to start with, but you can move it anywhere and it becomes a different major scale everywhere you move it. So if you start on C, it's a C major scale. If you start on G, it's a G major scale, and so on. Now, when you go on to learn other scales, the major scale is the foundation that you kind of compare all the other scales to. So it helps you to understand other scales, and of course will give you the dexterity to play other scales as well. There could be a case for starting off with like a pentatonic scale if you're just interested in rock improvisation. But I encourage you to at least learn the major scale along with that. If you go on to learn modes, if you don't know what that is, don't worry, but it's a bunch of scales that are used for improvisation, mostly in jazz or jazzy type stuff. Modes are all built kind of off the major scale. In other words, if you start on the basic note of the scale, you've got an Ionian. We call the major scale an Ionian mode. If you start on the next note, let's say you've got a C scale, and you start on the D note and play the D, well, now you've got a Dorian mode. It's really that simple. If you start on any note, it's a different name. Don't worry about that. But knowing you have the foundation will give you a lot of options later on. And finally, when you learn music theory, the major scale is really a necessary tool for understanding so much aspects of music theory and for ear training as well. Intervals, chords, all those things are used by comparing to the major scale. So with that, enough talking. Let's go ahead and learn this thing, and I'll show you how to practice it. We're going to start out with the C major scale, and again it's movable, so this is just a template that you can move all around the neck. And since it's a C major scale, we'll start on the C note. That's on the 8th fret on your fretboard. So you can count up 3, 5, 7, 8. It's also a little easier to play this scale than some scales down in here because the frets are closer together. So it's a good one to start off with. I'm going to start off with my second finger, play the next note with my pinky, then go over to the 5th string, that's on the 7th fret, first finger, second finger, pinky again, over to the 4th string, 7th fret, 8, 9 with the 3rd finger, and then the pinky again. That was 1 octave. And I did it very quickly on purpose. I wanted you to hear from C to C. You see, the ear training part of this is very important. One thing to keep in mind, for ear training purposes, I want you to play the scale from root note to root note, at least for a while. You can expand beyond that. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to once you get very comfortable with it. But start root note to root note so you train your ears to hear that. In this case, it's a C scale, so we start with C, 8th fret. Go up 2 frets to D, and we're going to use the pinky for that. Then over to the 5th string, first finger, 7th fret. Let's do that much. Try it with me now. 8th fret, 10th fret, over to the 5th string, that's the 7th fret. Let's add a note, the 8th fret with the 2nd finger, and then go up 2 more frets to the 10th fret. So do that much with me again, and we'll go a little beyond it each time. Start with the 8th fret, 10, over to the 7, 8, 10, going to the 4th string now. You saw how this is going to go. First finger on the 7. Now we go 9. You see the pattern's a little different there. And then 10 again. 1 octave, C to C. Now I encourage you to learn 1 octave first and at least be able to play it slow without messing up too much. I usually tell students to aim for about what you consider 80%, and that's your judgment, by the way. There's no outside judgment of what 80% is. When you feel like you've got it about 80% of what you've seen me do and what you think you should do, you're there. And we're going to go on to the 2nd octave now. So we've played the 1st octave. I'll show you in comparison. And we're starting on this note, the C note here, with the pinky, over to the next string, the 3rd string. That's the 7th fret. Now 9 and 10. Let's do that much, starting on the 10th fret, 4th string, 3rd string, 7th fret, 9 and 10. We'll go on to the 2nd string. We're going to 8 on the 2nd string, and then 10. Again, let's do that much, starting on the 4th string, 10th fret. Over 3rd string, that's 7. 8, 9, up 2 frets. Up 1 fret, 10. Over the 2nd string, we're going to go to 8. Now, pinky down on 10. Over to the 1st string, back to 7. And we're going to end on 8 because that's the other C. That makes the 2nd octave, C to C. So we've got C, 1 octave, and then 2nd octave. It pays to learn it slowly and get it correct. It's okay if you make mistakes once in a while, but don't play so fast you're constantly making mistakes. You're basically building a habit of putting your finger in the wrong place. You don't want to do that. It's go slow, get it right, listen to what you're doing at the same time. Don't just think of this as only a motor exercise. You're using your ears and you're training your ears both to connect with your fingers and to hear these intervals. You see, I have a whole video on these intervals, and I'm going to put that at the end of this video so you can watch it. It explains what the intervals are, both between the notes and from the root note to other notes. And that's important. As you learn to improvise and to create your own music, those intervals, being able to hear them more than intellectually understand them, being able to hear them will help you tremendously in creating melodies and improvisations. Let's go through this one more time, nice and slow. Then we're going to try it backwards one time. Usually I would say don't go backwards until you can go all the way up, but we're just going to give it a shot. Starting on the C note. Do this with me. Start now. Go to 10. You got this. Come on. Best you can. Don't worry. Over next string, 7. Yeah. Now 8. Now 10. Over to the next string, we're going back to 7. Up to 9. And then 10. That's 1 octave. Next string, back over to 7. 8, 9. And 10. The 2nd string, 8. 10, to the 1st string, 7, and then 8. Okay, we're going to go down now, starting on that C note, back 1 fret, back to the 2nd string on the 10th fret, down 2 frets, over to the 3rd string, no, there we go, down 1 fret, 2 frets, over again, back to 10 with a pinky. That's 1 octave. Go down 1 fret, 2 frets. Next string, 10. Down 2 frets. Yes, 1 fret. Back to the lowest string, pinky. And we'll end on the 2nd finger, 6th string, 8th fret. Good work. Now, we're going to play with the backing track very slowly at first. And this is just to make sure you get the notes of the scale. Go as slow as you need to go. In this case, I'm going to play just the 1st octave. Here we go. So you don't have to start right at the beginning. I'm going to start right now. The notes sound fine with the backing track anywhere. So I am playing in rhythm, nice and slow. Don't worry too much about that. Aim for getting in time with the backing track, but it's something that you'll get better and better at just as you practice it. So, let's say you've gotten that 1st octave that I just played. Now you'll want to go ahead and play that speed all the way through, up from the low string to the high string. Once you can do that pretty well, try doubling the speed. That's going to sound something like this. That was twice as fast. And you could go faster than that, But for now, I'd rather see you go ahead and start going backwards when you get up to that speed. So that's going to sound something like this. I'll count it in if you want to try it with me. 1, 2, ready, go. That was all the way up. Now going back down. There we go. Now, when you're feeling ambitious or you've been playing long enough that gets pretty easy, here's even faster than that. 1, 2, ready, hit it. Okay, when you get up to that speed, you're probably pretty good with that scale. Try moving it around the fretboard. That's it for now. If this video made you smile even a little, give me a thumbs up. And as I mentioned before, I created another video that explains more about the theory behind the major scale, and I give you some additional ways to practice it. This is something I wish I'd known when I first started out. I'd encourage you to watch it. Here's that link for you.